parts theft. It's just getting worse and worse. And I've seen some parts like get taken off the shelves like maybe like once or twice a month or something, but now it seems like it's happening every other day. It's absolutely insane what this has come to. Now, ladies and gentlemen, stealing is not a shocking new thing. Stuff gets stolen from the toy aisle and makeup aisle and even potato chip aisle all the time at retail stores. It's not a new phenomenon that suddenly started up last week. All sorts of scumbags and desperate people do it all the time since before the sinking of Atlantis. And Beyblades is really no exception. I remember as a kid there would be like 1 or 2 open packages here and there, and were stuff missing from Beyblades to Bakugans to Nerf guns to Legos to Barbies. And really, there is not that much that can be done about it, but that is just the natural order of things. Stores can beef up all the security they want, but there is really only so much they can do. And it doesn't happen that super often, but as the entire game of collecting and hobbies has become more and more prevalent than ever before, especially with the explosion of the internet these days, it's now actually become more common to find stuff getting stolen than ever. Especially with Beyblade X getting more and more popular. I've seen stores get Pokemon cards stolen and outright mobbed by grown-ass adults to the point of riots. And now we have a hobby like Beyblade getting parts outright stolen out of the package in store. I haven't seen any riots for any new Beyblades, but we're getting there. Now, this is something that has been going on since the dawning of the plastic gen of Beyblade. But now, with Beyblade X reviving the competitive sport nature of Beyblade, making it more and more popular, I have to say that parts theft has been happening way more commonly than ever before. It's so crazy how every time I go to Walmart or Superstore, or when I'm in America, Target, without fail, I will always see something stolen. Now, this sort of thing has been going on for the past year that I've been playing Beyblade, and I can't believe that I even have to make this video telling you all that these parts thieves should go screw themselves, because this thing has really been pissing me off lately. The more I see it happen, the more angrier I get, and this is coming from someone who actually plays Beyblade and spends money getting this stuff legitimately. So I feel like I'm more than qualified to be upset by this. And you know, one of the things in life you should never do is make the Asian uncle mad, and Uncle Haru is pretty mad right now. I understand that most of the times it's just kids that are opening these things, like 6-year-olds that probably haven't developed their brains to understand that opening a product in the store and taking it without paying for it is not cool and it's illegal. Like, I get it, they're probably just children, and when I see stuff just ripped open like these, or it's Beyblades that are generally not that great and like just a ratchet or maybe a couple of parts that are taken at pure random, it's most likely just a child acting stupid. That I understand, and they just need a good spanking by their parents to tell them that's not okay. But then I am seeing pictures of stolen parts from the Tide Whale single where the Elevate bit is gone, or the Kill Shark single where the 360 and low flat is the only things they took. Hell, Green Wizard Rod, they took the whole thing because that has all good parts. When I see examples like this just tells me that the theft seems a bit too much like adults are taking them, not just kids. And all the examples I just showed, all of them are very competitively viable parts that only the most dedicated fans and players would know where they are found. So that means competitive players are actually looting these. It is just absolutely insane that there are people in our competitive scene that are potential parts thieves. Now, please don't get the wrong idea. Absolutely do not accuse anybody of being a parts thief if you have no proof. But the fact that there is this dark storm cloud that's looming over the space, that is scary to think about. These kinds of parts thefts just seem way too calculated for them to be just mere immature children. Maybe it turns out we have immature adults in the community too. There is even a ton of reports from people that see competitive product getting looted. Razu Ryan says that she saw 3 or 4 Tide Whale singles ripped open with elevates being missing, and 2 of the Tyranno Beat dual packs missing the Tyranno Beat blade. That just seems to me like too much of a coincidence. That seems way too calculated. There are just way too many examples of how actual competitive parts seem to be the main things that go missing from these part thefts. It's either that they are being taken by competitive players that are not willing to pay the price to buy a full product when they really only want specific things from it. I understand why, because of the stadium set with Hover Wyvern and Impact Drake. Or they are being taken by people that just want to sell the parts to competitive players, either in person or online, because they didn't pay for it in the first place, so that is instant profit. Getting into the mind of someone stealing those Elevate bits, that would be an easy payday if they sold all of those, since everyone wants it for Cobalt Dragoon. If it is competitive players that are stealing because they either can't or won't pay the full price for a tiny part of the product, then I think they need to find a new hobby or something. Now, I get it, times are tough right now and things are outrageously expensive. Life is really hard these days and not everyone can afford the things they need, and Beyblade is probably the last thing on people's groceries lists. I understand truly, but stealing instead of paying for it only creates problems for the rest of the bladers that can pay for it. This activity only makes getting product a lot harder for the rest of us. It only decentivizes stores like Walmart or Target from getting more Beyblades in for us to buy, because if they get stolen, there is no money to be made and stores won't carry them. Or it makes stores beef up their security and lock the Beyblades behind a glass display where you need to ring an employee to come and open it to buy it. I mean, heck, at least a couple of the Walmarts here in Winnipeg have already started doing that. And with how it keeps getting out of hand, it's not going to be a surprise that the rest is probably going to follow suit. And not only that, but it's also absolutely insulting to the rest of us. We all work hard to earn the money that we do to use some of the extra cash we got to actually buy these products, and for you to come along and make it tougher for us because you are not willing to obtain your parts legitimately is freaking infuriating. How is it that you are going to cause me grief for your own selfish actions? It just ruins the whole experience for the rest of us. If Beyblade is trying to be looked at as a legitimate sport, that is pretty much you stealing the equipment that the rest of us paid to use. Now, while shoplifters and scumbags are definitely the source of the problem, Hasbro is not completely blameless here. Just a little bit. Now, one solution that people have proposed is changing the packaging of their products, and this I am kinda inclined to agree with. The current packaging they have right now makes it way too easy for people to just jam their index fingers in and rip through and take everything with ease. The little baggie that comes with the ratchet and bit aren't even taped down or anything, so it can be grabbed in less than a millisecond, and it can still look like it's in one piece unless you take a second look. Now, the deluxe sets like Sword Phoenix, Cobalt Dragoon, and Saber Samurai, I think those are fine because it actually requires a lot more effort to really open up and take everything. They still get stolen, sure, but at least it requires more time where there is a better chance to get caught. But the other products like the singles and the dual packs that have the zip thing at the front, you can easily rip through it, and I think that needs to change. Just for comparison, Takuratami packaging are in a completely non-see-through box, and it does take a bit of effort to open up, and when you do, the product inside are usually tied or taped down to the cardboard behind it, so it takes more time and effort to really get anything out if there are thieves that are trying to steal. I think that Hasbro should definitely try to make packaging similar to this. I don't know if the whole see-through thing at the front to show the toy is a regulation thing, or if it's just to make it more intriguing to sell, but the Plastic Gen Blades and even the Burst Pro series did not have that, so I don't really see what the point is of having the see-through at the front. I don't want to see these retail stores having to beef up security over something so trivial as Legos or toys, but it seems like that is a direction that we are going down, and I'm not one for simping for big corporations, but this is really more so for the good of the community more than anything. Of course, it is important to know that not everyone that is at your local scene that have a lot of spare parts is a parts thief. You should never assume anyone there is a parts thief without real valid proof. And I say anyone that does get caught being a parts thief, that does get caught stealing anything from any store, should be blacklisted from the community. And honestly, since everyone has phones with cameras nowadays, if I go to the Beyblade shelf and I catch you stealing, I swear I will be recording and I will be posting that video after handing it to the police and have everyone be aware who you are and make sure you never set foot near a Bay Stadium again. Anyway, that's really all I have to say. This video acting like a loudspeaker expressing my absolute discontent with the people that pull this crap. Whether or not this will actually change anything is anyone's guess, but I just wanted to finally get this off my chest, even when people start to roll their eyes and treat it with the banality that comes from familiarity. But to the people that happen to see this and think they can still get away with what they're doing, I wouldn't recommend it, since I have now put the idea in people's heads to record and expose anyone that steals. So quit goofing around and find some real work to do. For God's sake, I should not be having to tell people this, but how sad of a situation this is that I am having to. Jesus Christ!